All right, I think we can get started. I think we gave it enough time for all of the late joiners to sign in. So thanks everybody for joining me today on the second edition of our Peak webinar series. My name is Shana Cavuto, and I manage the publisher and customer care team here at Pepperjam. So before I get started, just a couple of things to mention. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the webinar. I'm going to spend some time answering those questions at the end. I'm also going to record a copy of this webinar, and that should be available for review in the Knowledge Center by sometime early next week. And in addition to that, for everyone who's joined today, I will be following up with you directly, and I will pass along a copy of this deck that we're presenting today. So you'll definitely receive one. All right, so today's webinar is on last-minute tips for holiday success. And our formal agenda is to review some peak reminders, some recommendations to ensure that your program's holiday ready. We're going to talk about our top 10 tips for success. And then finally, we'll review some placement opportunities available to you. As I mentioned, this is the second edition of our Peak webinar series. So just a heads up, next month we're going to be talking about executing and staying optimized throughout Peak. And then in December, we're going to talk about year in review. That's where we look back over the past year's highlights and talk about taking those learnings and turning them into tomorrow's earnings. By the way, too, if you happen to miss last month's preparing for Peak webinar, please let us know. You can reach out to me directly. My email is scavuto@pepperjam.com. That's S-C-A-V-U-T-O @pepperjam.com, and I'll be sure to get you a copy of the deck. So I just want to recap some of the peak shopping days that we have ahead of us. I think most of you are probably familiar with most of the key peak days in November. One I did want to call out is Singles Day. That is on November 11th. If you're not familiar with what Singles Day is, it's an upcoming holiday that's been gaining popularity over the years. It's kind of considered the anti-Valentine's Day holiday. So that's a day, if you are single, it's a day to celebrate being single and buy yourself a gift. We also have quite a few peak days in December. Just so you're aware, the Monday following Cyber Monday, which is on December 3rd, that's also a great day. We see high volumes of activity and revenue across the network. So be sure when you're thinking about planning your promotional calendar that you're taking these key shopping days into account. All right, so let's review making sure that your program is holiday ready. This section of the webinar is about program auditing. And audits are arguably one of the most important tasks that you should focus on, especially during peak. So I did review auditing in detail in the last webinar, and I would like to recap and just highlight some of the key areas of importance. So first and foremost, you want to confirm that your tracking is functioning properly. I'm sure you've all seen the communications and notifications within your account regarding the Apple ITP 2.0 update. So that update was actually rolled out last month, and it does affect almost everyone's affiliate tracking on Safari. So if you haven't seen any of our communications, or if you haven't addressed the necessary tracking update for ITP, you can find details about this within the Knowledge Center, and that's within Resources section of your account. And you'll find information there on the next steps, what you need to do in order to update your tracking, and then be sure to submit a test order once you've completed that update so that our team can verify. Also, if you've made any updates to your cart or your platform, you should also be submitting a test order just to ensure tracking is working and functioning the right way. If you're not sure about how to submit a test order, you can also find those instructions within Knowledge Center. And then finally, just review any transaction errors which you can find in the notifications section of your dashboard. You're going to find a list of common errors and definitions in Knowledge Center as well. But if you see errors in your account that are not defined, or if you're not sure how to proceed, just reach out to your Pepperjam rep, or you can contact us at customer-care@pepperjam.com, and we're happy to assist there. As for promotional planning, you're going to want to ensure that your publishers are informed of any promotions that you plan on running as early as you can. So remember, these publishers are incredibly busy during the holiday, updating their sites, pulling updated offers from the network, So just make it easy as possible for them to prepare and ensure that your offers are not missed in the hustle of peak. So there's a few things that you can do to keep your publishers informed. I recommend sending holiday-themed newsletters at least twice a month. Your newsletters should include all of your current and upcoming offers. You can use a tagging feature that's available in the newsletter creation area to tag creative that you want your publishers to pull. It makes it super easy for them to grab the right creative. And by the way, you can also schedule out all of your newsletters in advance. So in that way, you have one less thing on your to-do list over peak. One other thing you can do when adding your creatives to your program is use the View Early feature. You'll see this option when you're adding a creative and you select to add a specific date range for your creative. You'll see an option to add a View Early date. So that feature actually allows you to set a date for when the creative will be viewable to publishers before the actual start date of the creative. So just is so helpful for them to prepare, especially for those crazy days like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. As for recruitment, you actually do still have time to conduct recruitment. Now it's true, many publishers do go into code freeze during Q4, but there's quite a few that are still available and able to partner with you. And as always, I recommend using our Optimizer tool, which you'll find in the top nav of your account. Once you log into Optimizer, you can navigate to the Publisher Search tab, and you'll see a preset filter option where you can conduct a gap analysis. So what that is, it displays your program's relationship against the top 100 performing publishers on Pepperjam. Next, you want to do an audit of your commission. So make sure your publishers are set at the proper terms, especially before we go into this super high volume time of year. Review every term that you have created. Ensure your terms align with your Q4 KPIs. And if you're doing any temporary commission increases, I highly recommend using that scheduling feature to schedule the decrease. You're going to want to review your creative. Make sure your text links, coupons, and banners are scheduled ahead of time for holiday. Ensure that your program doesn't have any outdated creatives that are still active within the program. If you do allow for deep linking, ensure this is enabled for your generic link. Deep linking allows the publisher to designate their own landing page on your site when promoting you, and creatives that have deep linking enabled tend to convert better than those that don't. To allow for deep linking on the generic link, it gives the publishers the ability to use our deep link generator tool. If you're not familiar with Deep Link Generator, this is a tool that publishers can add to the bookmarks bar in their browser. So this way publishers can just navigate to any page on your site and click on that option in the bookmarks bar, and that'll display their unique tracking link. So it's super easy for them to use. As for itemized lists, this applies to you if you are utilizing SKU level commissioning. So you're going to want to ensure that your lists are up to date. Now, great tip, if you're using the manual upload method to upload your itemized list and you need to make an update, be sure to upload the list in its entirety. Otherwise, you can overwrite any list you previously had set up. And then also make sure any rules you have set up around these lists are correct. And then finally, review your program's terms and conditions. Make sure all countries your program ships to are correct and all auto-decline filters are up to date. This is also a really good time to check your join message. So that's the email that your publishers receive upon acceptance into your program. So your join should include your contact information, and you might want to consider including some of your holiday creative. All right, we're on to my favorite part of the webinar, our top 10 tips for holiday success. So continue to audit your publishers for accuracy. Ensure that your holiday offers are being promoted. It's a hectic time of year, so just take the extra time, check your publisher sites, especially those top publishers. Make sure they have the latest offers and make sure they have posted what you want them to be promoting. When you're auditing your loyalty publishers, review your competitors' cashback in comparison to yours. You want to make sure your cashback rate is competitive and, of course, make any adjustments where needed. Monitor your performance and consider extending promotions or even offering deeper discounts if sales are soft. A great way to keep tabs on performance is to set up your KPIs. So KPIs are your key performance indicators or your goals for your program. You can set up some revenue goals here, and you'll be able to see exactly how your program is trending towards your goals for the month as soon as you log into your account. So that information is always at your fingertips. Offer vanity codes. Vanity codes are simply coupon codes that include the publisher's name. So for example, a vanity code for Ebates for 10% off might be Ebates 10. Publishers love vanity codes. They promote the publisher, they enforce that there's a partnership between the advertiser and the publisher, and in some cases you can receive additional exposure in exchange for offering a vanity code. And then monitor all placements you've secured for Q4. Make sure all the details for that placement are correct. In addition to making sure the placement details are correct, you're going to want to track that placement performance. I really highly recommend creating a placement tracker where you take screenshots, traffic, revenue, ROAS. Having these details will help you out in determining which placements were successful and which ones you should repeat for next year. Maintain a daily budget tracker. This will help you monitor any incremental spend used for any future optimization. And then probably one of the most important tips, communication with your publishers is so important this time of year. Talk to your publishers, especially your top performers. Keep them in the know of what your offers are via those newsletters, direct emails. I even highly suggest setting up calls, especially with those top performers in your program. And now I'd like to share some low-cost and commission-increased placement opportunities with some of our recommended publishers for Q4. So VigLink and Piggy, like many publishers, they're sending out themed newsletters throughout Q4. If you're not familiar, VigLink is a sub-affiliate network. They're comprised of about 2 million publishers. Most of them are very content-focused sites. So you see the options for participation in their newsletter. And then Piggy is a growing loyalty publisher on Pepperjam. They currently have 1.2 million users, and you can have your offers included in their theme newsletters in exchange for a 2% increase for 2 weeks. Again, use that scheduling feature. Magic Links is another sub-affiliate network. They're comprised primarily of influencers. So their newsletter reaches over 13,000 Magic Links creators and has a total audience reach of 638 million people. Top 6 categorical ownership reaches 8,000 active influencers with total audience reach of 383 million. Claire's Commerce, if you're not familiar, they're actually made up of freeshipping.com, Shop Smarter, Travel Plus, and deliverydeals.co.uk. Their suite of subscription sites serves over 500,000 members. List is a fashion discovery platform, and they're much more likely to display your offers if you're offering a really competitive commission rate. By the way, shipping costs and shipping speeds are one of the top decision-making factors for customers on List, especially those days leading up to Christmas. So guaranteed last-minute delivery times are important during the holiday season, and for List, 20% of their orders in December last year occurred in the week just before Christmas. And then Mr. Rebates is a top-performing loyalty publisher. They frequently offer extra cash back events. So you just need to increase your commission by as little as 1% in order to participate. These extra cash back events are promoted across the Mr. Rebate site and as well as in their newsletters. So you find all these placement opportunities as well as many more. We actually have a link available to you right within the notification section of your dashboard. So you'll see a landing page there with tons of opportunities, lots of publishers listed. So be sure to check that often because we're continuously updating that landing page as we get more and more media kits from our publishers. So pretty short and sweet today. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I have a question here. Someone asked how to log into Optimizer. So when you're within your Pepperjam account, there's actually a top navigation, so you'll see a link to Optimizer right there. If it's the first time that you're logging in, you might need to use the forgot password option in order to create a password. If you have any trouble, just let us know. We'll make sure that you have access, that you have an account set up. Okay, so I have someone asking, what if our product offers for the holidays have not been solidified yet internally? Well, if you're still working on your promotional calendar, that's fine. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are making last-minute changes and updates. Just be sure to let your publishers know as soon as you have that finalized. Once you have that promo calendar all square, and then you can go ahead and schedule your creatives in advance. Someone else asked, where is the link to the placement opportunities? I don't see it in the dash. So as soon as you're logged into your Pepperjam account, you'll see the notifications box. If you scroll down within that box, I believe right now there's a notification regarding the ITP update, and then the very next option you should see, check out placement opportunities. Click here, which will take you to a landing page. Someone else asked, does List have a setup for integration fee? That one I'm not 1,000% on. I don't believe that they do. I believe that their only requirements are to have a product feed and a competitive commission rate, but let me circle back with you on that. Let me confirm 1,000%, and then when I send everybody the update with the deck, I'll provide an answer to that question. Next question, do you have any suggestions or tips on doing previous year competitor analysis? How can I find out what our competitors offered for peak last year? Well, that's a really good question. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to find too much information. For certain brands, you might be able to Google things like, Black Friday offer for whatever brand it is you're searching for. You might be able to find some details that way. But what I would highly recommend is to talk to your publishers. Ask them where they saw success last year, especially for the vertical that you're in. Your publishers are probably the best source of advice and recommendations for what you should do to optimize with them. The next question, is there a way to find influencers in the network other than by filtering by blog or website content? Well, you can find some additional information if you use the Optimizer tool. There's a publisher search tab, and if you go there, you can actually search by things like this overall social reach. I can give you a little bit of a heads up there and let you know that Pepperjam is always looking to develop new technologies and opportunities, especially to work with influencers, because that's such a huge focus right now. So Grace, I can tell you we have some really great things on the horizon, so just stay tuned. Another great question. What's the best way to get into contact with publishers if there's just a generic email provided on Pepperjam that often doesn't respond? Please let us know about that if that's the case. We want to ensure and do our best to make sure that our publishers are responsive and communicating with the email address that they have on file with us. In some cases, we do have alternate email addresses and contact information, so I'm not sure which publisher you're referring to, but please let us know. We'll see what else we have on file for them, and if you are a customer care client or any of our clients, we're happy to reach out on your behalf. These are good questions. Anybody have any other questions? Give it a couple more minutes. It's a quick webinar today. We have a lot of time available. Oh, looks like someone just joined and missed most of the webinar, so if that's the case, just so you're aware, I will be sending a copy of this deck to everyone who is in attendance today. I have recorded the webinar as well. Just give me a little time to edit that. I'm hoping by very early next week I should have the full recorded version available on Knowledge Center. By the way, too, if you want to check that out, there's actually an entire webinar section. I believe there's also some webinars from last year, which most of the information is still, relevant and applicable for this year. So it's always good to review the other webinars we have available. All right, for agencies, do you think it's easier or better for publishers to talk about multiple brands in one communication or to send separate communications? That's a good question, Grace. I might advise you to ask Erin that. Erin heads up our agency team. I think for publishers, sometimes they do have specific portfolios, so if you're talking to your designated contact, they might not be managing all of the brands that you're referring to. So I think that's kind of a publisher-to-publisher preference. Another question, what's an average rev share payout to affiliates in terms of percentage? In that case, I would highly recommend that you take a look at some of your competitors, what they're offering. That percentage can really vary depending on the vertical that you're in. We're always happy to provide some network benchmarks, so we're happy to take a look at whatever category you fit into as an advertiser and let you know just what the network averages are. But I think when you're trying to determine what you should offer as commission, I think probably one of the most important things to do is to make sure you're in line with what your competitors are offering, either the same or, if you can, be more aggressive. Someone else asked about the URL for additional webinars. I can send that in the follow-up for you, David. I know there's a section, if you log into your account under Resources and then Knowledge Center, that's going to get you to our entire FAQ page with how-to videos, best practices, all kinds of great information there. On that page, there's a section for webinars, and you'll see all of our historical webinars that we have available. Excellent. Well, I don't see any other questions. As always, please feel free to reach out to us if you think of something after we end this webinar and you'd like to ask. Please feel free to reach out. Again, I'll be in touch very soon with a copy of this deck. Please stay tuned for invitations and emails regarding next month's webinar, and I look forward to talking to you guys then. So everybody have a great day, and thanks so much for attending. Bye.